When Barack Obama was elected to the presidency this past November, people of every class, race, and background were profoundly inspired by President Obama's life story, accomplishments, and message. His election to the presidency represents a great hope for all Americans that anything is possible for anyone. As a future teacher, I think about how Obama's vision of hope will affect the next generation of Americans and how we can make sure that every child, including our own, no matter how poor or disadvantaged, has the means to achieve their dreams. Today I would like to talk to you about one of the greatest problems and roadblocks that we in Louisiana will face in securing hope for the next generation of Louisianians. That problem is poverty. First, I would like to talk about the facts about the current poverty situation in Louisiana. Then I would like to talk about the programs the government and nonprofit organizations already have in place to fight poverty. Then about how these programs can be improved and made more effective. And then finally, what can you and I do to become involved with this issue? First of all, poverty is not just an isolated financial problem affecting those within its class. It is in reality everyone's problem. It affects everyone in every level of society in some way, whether through crime, racial divisions, poor school systems, or the tarnishing of a reputation of our state and the willingness of investors and businesses to come to Louisiana because of that reputation. To understand why this is such an important issue, we have to consider some of the devastating side effects of poverty. Poverty breeds frustration and a sense of powerlessness. High school dropout rates, juvenile delinquency rates, teenage pregnancy rates, and domestic violence are the highest in impoverished areas. Here in Louisiana, we have the highest juvenile incarceration rate in the nation. It costs the state $26,000 a year to house each young person in a state facility. Many children living in poverty are missing a male or female role model in their life to encourage them and guide them. Louisiana has the highest percentage in the nation of single-parent families at 35%. Many children do not have an adult role model of the importance of hard work and achieving one's goals. 35% of children in Louisiana live with parents who do not have full-time, year-round jobs, which is the second worst rate in the nation. Experience has shown that just throwing government money at the problem of poverty does not solve the deeper social issues behind it. Also, people who have worked for years in the trenches on this issue realize that poverty must be taken on not only by the state government, but also by private nonprofit organizations and concerned citizens. But first of all, what is the government doing? Improving Louisiana's public school system has been at the forefront in the poverty war in the last several years. The state has begun to require greater accountability for public schools. A school must demonstrate that children are truly learning and reaching the desired outcomes the state has set forth, not just passing through an irresponsible system that gives them a degree when they really have not achieved the required objectives. Also, recently the state has reformed its juvenile justice system in an effort to return young people back into society before they become lifelong dependents on the state. As I said, poverty is a complex issue and should be attacked from more than one direction. Nonprofit organizations are another way we can fight poverty. The Louisiana Association of Nonprofit Organizations and the Louisiana Association of United Ways recently introduced Community Solutions 2007, which is a series of policy recommendations for fighting poverty, and they introduced this to the state legislature. The recommendations included creating services for at-risk students, implementing better workforce training, and aid for students who are trying to finish college. And this also included better access to child daycare for working parents. Now I would like to talk about a few key points on how our efforts might be improved in fighting poverty. One major problem with our current fight with poverty is ensuring that we are empowering people with a hand to lift them up out of poverty and not giving them a hand out that doesn't require them to take responsibility for their well-being, their own well-being. Another important point, I believe, is to pay attention to the suggestions of people who have worked in this area for a long time and understand what works and what the needs are currently. On a personal level, How can we individually become involved in the fight to give a hope and a future to each child, no matter what their economic situation is? Though it may seem insignificant, if you can help one person, you can change one person's life. Becoming involved in a community or a school program such as Head Start or Adult Literacy Advocates, mentoring an at-risk child, or helping someone finish their education could be a small way that we can become involved in the fight against poverty. Also, we can fight poverty by being informed citizens who understand this issue and the legislation we vote on. All right, now to review. I've talked about the facts of the problem, what we're currently doing, and how what we're currently doing could be improved. And lastly, what we could do individually. In this issue, the future of Louisiana is what is at stake. Will our state grow economically? Will our school systems improve? How can we unlock the potential of the next generation of Louisianians and ensure that their dreams can be realized? I think the first step is realizing that poverty is everyone's problem.